Are you still exhausted on thyroid medication? Still gaining weight? Still foggy and still being told that your labs look fine? As a nurse who has been on both sides of this exam room with Hashimoto's and lived undiagnosed for over 10 years, I'm going to walk you through 3 things most doctors never check: the viral trigger hiding in your immune history, the nutrient your thyroid can't make hormone without, and the lab picture that keeps women stuck for years. Because this is exactly where women with thyroid disease get dismissed. And it doesn't have to stay that way. If you've been told your TSH is within normal limits, but your body does not feel normal, that mismatch matters. You're not making it up. And there's a pattern underneath the symptoms that conventional testing isn't designed to catch. Here's what most thyroid conversations miss: your thyroid doesn't malfunction out of nowhere. There's upstream reasons it gets stuck. And when we only look at TSH, we're looking at one piece of a much bigger picture. The labs are just a starting point, not a finish line. So today, we're going to look at the bigger picture together. And if you stay through number 2, you'll understand a connection between a common virus and your immune system that changed everything for me personally. Most thyroid conversations skip this completely. And it's the piece that I really wish someone had explained to me 25 years ago. There's a growing body of functional medicine research on the connection between Epstein-Barr virus, the virus that causes mono, and autoimmune thyroid conditions like Hashimoto's. Most people assume that EBV, Epstein-Barr virus, is something that you get once in college and feel awful for weeks and then it's over. But that's not necessarily true. For a lot of women with autoimmune issues, that's not the full story. EBV can go into what researchers call low-grade reactivation, not full mono, more like a slow background immune burden that keeps an already active immune system on high alert. And here's why that matters for your thyroid specifically. Functional medicine research suggests that viral triggers like EBV may drive something called molecular mimicry. The immune system, in trying to fight off your virus, can start attacking the thyroid tissue because it structurally resembles viral protein. This is one proposed mechanism behind autoimmune thyroid disease. Your immune system is not malfunctioning randomly. It may be reacting to something it's still fighting. I know this personally because I lived it. I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue from sky high Epstein-Barr counts and told by an infectious disease specialist to just live with it. A lot of help, right? Nobody connected my EBV to my thyroid. Nobody connected it to the joint pain, the brain fog, the hair I kept losing off my eyebrows and my arms completely. It was treated like a completely separate problem, and it wasn't. And then I got COVID. It tipped my already burdened thyroid into full Hashimoto's. My endocrinologist now has confirmed that and told me that it likely wouldn't have progressed to that point or that far if I'd been treated years earlier. So what do you do with this? Ask your provider to run EBV titers, not just the standard acute panel, but ask specifically for the reactivation markers: EBV, VCA, IgG, and EBV early antigen. A functional medicine or an integrative practitioner is usually much more familiar with this picture than a conventional office provider. And if your levels are elevated, get curious. Don't panic, because the gut is where so much of your immune environment is actually managed. Supporting it during this kind of chronic pathogen burden has been a real piece of my own protocol. I personally use Silver Fern brand's cleanup pathogen protocol. It's a kit that's designed to help clear the microbiome of bacteria, fungus, and pathogens, and it supports rebuilding a stronger gut barrier afterwards. So that leaky gut goes away. I have EBV and I have Hashimoto's. And for me, those two things are connected, and supporting my gut has been part of a huge management of that. The link is in the description below if you'd like to check it out and learn more. And as always, just check with your provider before starting anything new, especially if you're on thyroid medication. But addressing the viral piece is only part of what keeps the thyroid stuck. Your thyroid needs iodine the same way that a car needs gas. Without it, your body literally cannot make T3 or T4. And that's not a metaphor. Iodine is a structural component of thyroid hormone. There's no workaround. And here's what most women don't know. Even though we've had iodized salt in the United States for 100 years, iodine deficiency is quietly making a comeback. We're using less table salt overall. Processed foods uses non-iodized salt. The foods that naturally carry iodine in seaweed, dairy, seafood are just not staples for a lot of women anymore. And for those of us with gut inflammation, absorption can be impaired when iodine is present in the diet. The tricky part, iodine deficiency symptoms look almost identical to hypothyroid symptoms because they are connected. Cold hands and feet, hair thinning, fatigue that doesn't lift, brain fog, constipation, dry skin. Sound familiar? Now, if you have Hashimoto's, this is where the nuance matters. And I really want to be careful here. There is evidence that very high dose iodine supplementation can actually aggravate autoimmune thyroid disease in some women. So, this isn't a more is better situation. It's a know your baseline situation. Talk to your provider about testing your iodine levels before you supplement anything. And in the meantime, start looking at food sources first. Seaweed, wild caught fish, pasture raised eggs, dairy if you can tolerate it. The goal is getting your body what it needs, not megadosing and hoping for the best. Your body will whisper before it screams. And iodine is one of the quiet things it can be asking for long before anyone connects the dots. And I did put together a free resource that walks through exactly this kind of root cause pattern with questions to bring to your provider and symptoms to track before your next appointment. It's the Autoimmune Relief and Energy Workbook, and the link is in the description below. It's free for you, so check it out if you're interested. So we've got the viral burden piece, we've got the iodine piece, but there's still one more reason so many women stay stuck. And most of the time, it's hiding in plain sight on a lab report that nobody looked closely at enough. This is where women get dismissed more than anywhere else. And I have been here. Standard thyroid testing usually means one number, your TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. If it lands anywhere in the normal range, the conversation ends. You go home confused because you feel anything but normal. But here's the thing about TSH that your doctor may not have explained to you. TSH is a pituitary hormone. It's not a thyroid hormone. It tells you how loudly your brain is signaling your thyroid to work harder. It says nothing about what your thyroid actually produced in response and nothing about whether your body is converting that hormone into a form that your cells can use. That conversion step is where a lot of women silently fall apart. A more complete picture includes a free T3 and free T4, the actual hormones that are circulating in your blood. Many women on thyroid medication have a normal T4 but a low T3 because conversion is breaking down. And that conversion happens largely in the gut. If your gut is inflamed or burdened, the conversion to T3 breaks down. There's the EBV piece circling back. It includes reverse T3, which I think of as the parking brake version of T3. It fills the receptor, but it does nothing. High reverse T3 can explain why a woman's labs look fine while every hypothyroid symptom in the book is still fully active, like mine was. And it includes thyroid antibodies TPO and TGAB, which can confirm autoimmune involvement years before TSH ever moves. And that was my case. I had the full symptom picture for close to a decade before my TSH even shifted. The antibodies were elevated the entire time, but nobody ran them. I had every single hypothyroid symptom in the book: losing the outer third of my eyebrows, extreme fatigue, constipation, joint pain, brain fog, cold all the time in my hands and feet, depression, heavy periods that used to be light, a puffy face and tongue. I had all of it. And nobody thought my thyroid was hypo because my TSH was within normal limits. It was on the high side of normal, but technically within range. I eventually flew from Iowa to Houston to find a practitioner who would actually look at the full picture. That appointment changed the trajectory of my health. You should not have to fly across the country for a complete workup, but you may need to advocate for yourself in the room with your provider. Print the lab list off of my workbook. Ask for each one by name. Find a functional medicine or integrative practitioner if your current provider won't run them. The mistake I see constantly is women going after one piece of this in isolation. They hear about iodine and start supplementing without knowing their baseline. Or they find out that EBV is connected to Hashimoto's and start moving forward without a plan. Or they get a full panel run, but don't know how to read it or what to do next. Root cause thinking isn't about chasing just one nutrient or one lab. It's about seeing how all of the pieces fit together. Your gut health affects thyroid hormone conversion. Your viral history affects whether your immune system is quietly attacking thyroid tissue. Your iodine status affects whether your thyroid has the raw materials that it needs to do its job. These are not three separate problems. They're one interconnected pattern, and your body has been trying to show it to you for a long time. Get curious. Don't panic, just get curious. Because when you understand the body burden, you can finally start addressing the right things in the right order. If you've been told your labs are normal, but you know something is still off, tell me in the comments below. How long did it take before someone took your symptoms seriously? I read every single comment, and I really would like to know your story. And if someone in your life has been dismissed and needs to hear this, please share this video with her, because the women who need it most are often the ones who are too exhausted to go looking for it. If this video helped you today, a like and subscribe keeps this information reaching the women who need to hear it. Remember, your body isn't broken, it's burdened. And when you understand those burdens, you can finally begin supporting your body in a way it's needed all along. Please take care of yourself because you deserve to feel better. And remember, we're all in this together. I'll see you in the next one.